Hello, class, and welcome to week 6. I wanted to take some time and just go over a little bit of material that we will be discussing this week. Before I do, I thought I'd I decided to dress a little more festive today because I'm celebrating this weekend my retirement from LAPD. So that part of my life and that part of my career has come to a close. I will be in Johnston County in just a few weeks to be on campus to start the next chapter of my career in academia. So you guys get to join me on this journey, at least for this semester, and uh, going on into the upcoming semesters. You'll get to see where it all began as I became going from part-time from Los Angeles as distance instructing to full-time on campus. It's an exciting time for me, and I'm glad you're here to experience it with me. That being said, I wanted to just touch on the discussion board posts that are due this week, or excuse me, the post and the replies that are due this week. Don't forget to post those on time. For the most part, that hasn't been an issue, but if you don't, you lose some points, and it also, as I've said before in the past, it's not necessarily fair to your classmates if they don't have all of the original posts to choose from when it comes time to post their responses. This week, we're going to talk about terrorism in the Middle East and the effects and locations where terrorism has either stemmed or occurred. One of the first ones in the textbook is the Khobar Towers incident. And that's one that sticks out in my mind as one of the most significant incidents because not only had I just joined the military when the Khobar Towers exploded, but I had friends in the Khobar Towers. I wasn't there, but I had some friends that had left to be deployed to Saudi Arabia, and they were there when the towers were attacked. In fact, I had my supervisor. I was stationed at Edwards Air Force Base, and my supervisor deployed from Edwards, and he was there. He was the flight chief, so the lead supervisor of the police, the on-base police and security for the Khobar Towers. He was working that night, and he's the one who saw on June 25th, he saw the truck pull up to the fences real near the towers. See, the Khobar Towers, unlike bases nowadays, you'll see bases in the middle of nowhere in the Middle East. There's really secluded, really secure bases. The Khobar Towers were in the middle of town, and there was just a fence around the base. And what happened was a fuel truck pulled up right to the edge of the fence, which just on the other side of the fence were the towers, the dormitory towers. Sergeant Guerrero, he saw this truck pull up and it looked awfully suspicious to him. And some folks may take some time to think like, oh, is this a big deal? Is this really serious? Should I start evacuating or not? Well, he made the decision. He saw the truck. It wasn't where it should be. He immediately started evacuating the towers. About 3.5 minutes later, after he saw the truck and started the evacuations, the truck exploded. It turned out to be a truck bomb. It exploded and causing significant damage to the towers, killed 19 people, injured over 250 others, and who knows how many lives were saved because of Sergeant Guerrero and the actions that he took seeing that truck. So having that personal connection to that, him being my supervisor at Edwards, really drove the point home of keeping when you're in charge of security, when you're in charge of force protection in the military, take your job serious. So he was a great role model for me. I had a couple other friends that were there that were not injured in the explosion, and then a couple other friends who were injured. Fortunately, I didn't know anybody, any of the 19 that were killed. Just a few that were there and adversely affected. But definitely a close to home, hitting very close to home. As somebody who joined the military in between two wars and was supposed to be a fairly peaceful time, it would really open my eyes to what could really happen. That being said, another aspect of Middle East conflict and Middle East terrorism stems from a couple offshoots of Islam. There's a huge civil war when it comes to the Iraq aspect, the Iraqi portion of the Middle East. The Sunnis and the Shia are two offshoots of Islam that have had a civil war for a long time, a lot of violence, many deaths stemming from the conflict that they've had. And this week's discussion board post is going to delve into that a little deeper. It's going to ask you to discuss the differences between the Sunni and the Shia sects of Islam. And I will just touch on that real briefly here before I let you go, give you just a starting point, a kicking off point for you to start your research. One of the things to remember is that both the Sunnis and the Shia, they follow the teachings of Islam. They follow the leadership, the religious leadership of the Prophet Muhammad. Where they separate and become two different sects, part of where they become two different sects is what happened after the Prophet Muhammad died. So Sunnis believe that the leadership powers of Muhammad were passed on to his cousin, somebody who went by the name of Imam Ali. So after Muhammad died, the Sunnis believe that Imam Ali took over the leadership role of Islam, whereas the Shia believe that leadership role was passed on to three Khalifa that were chosen by the leadership, by the followership of Islam. So that's the kind of the beginning of the separation of the two sects of Sunni and Shia stemming from Islam. What I'd like you to do is continue your reading in the textbook, as well as even outside resources. If you do research from outside resources, make sure you cite those sources. Use your in-text citation to let the reader know, let me know which of your references that you are referring to, and that way you can get credit for the full credit for the references and citations that are necessary. You get 20 points out of that, as we've said in the past. And if you want the full 20 points, you need to use multiple references and use in-text citations. I look forward to reading your submissions this week. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Again, I should be on campus and local in the next couple weeks as I slowly drive across the country. I will be here. Well, that being said, I will be here for another couple weeks, and I'll leave in a couple weeks, and it'll take me probably a week or two to meander across the country. I plan on taking a little bit of a relaxing drive across the country instead of rushing it. So I will be local probably around the middle of July. So you'll be along with me, and I will be taking each of you with me along this journey, and I look forward to it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to answer them.